Hello everybody, and welcome to tonight's presentation of OTF Connects, Creating Interactive Math Classes through BYOD with Jacqueline Calder. We're really grateful to have all of you here with us again tonight, because I know quite a few of you have been in OTF Connect sessions before, and Sirius Gerhan, who's the administrator and facilitator of the program, certainly extends her appreciation to all of you giving up some of your own time to further your learning as well as that of your students. And we are, as always, thrilled to have Jacqueline with us tonight, who always does a fantastic, exciting, busy time sharing all kinds of cool things that you can use in your classroom. So I will just throw up our map here so that we can see our amazing spread across the province group tonight. And then I'm going to hand things over to Jacqueline, who is going to wow us yet again with some really cool tools.
Thank you, Elise. Welcome, and it's actually nice to have one of the smaller groups that I've had in a little while, because tonight we're going to try 3 major and 2 minor interactive tools that work on pretty much any device for BYOD to turn our math classes into kind of that interactive activity. Except we're doing it virtually, which is great, and the tools still work, except if I can figure it out, you should see how many devices I have sitting in front of me right now. I have 2 computers, a tablet, and a phone all turned on and ready to try different stuff here. Because we're going to try, it's going to be difficult for me because I don't have the front of the room to show you or to show you behind the scenes. And so it's going to be, it's going to be a bit of a, it's going to be entertaining and fun, and there may be some glitches and some laughable moments, but we'll be willing to give it a try. So the 3 major tools that I'd like to start with are you don't necessarily need your cell phone, no. You can use your laptop, and you can just use different browsers on your laptop. I just want to be able to be in a couple different places at once. So you should be okay. You're more than willing to try grabbing your phone. It's just that a couple of these require free apps to download that we don't really want to waste the time downloading now, but I'll explain each one as we go through. So these are the 3 tools that we're going to start by comparing and looking at. Each one of these tools lets a teacher run a presentation, and then students have their devices, and the teacher pushes slides out to the students, and they can interact somehow. And each one has a little bit of a different type of interaction. So some of them, they can send back drawings or polls and all different stuff embedded into your presentation. So I'm going to use that green check mark up above our names and red X to get a few different pieces of information from you guys. Can I get a, which one should we make green check mark today? Let's make elementary green check mark today, and secondary the red X. So can you just click, yeah, awesome. So just to get an idea on the context that we're looking at here. So just above our names is that little check mark. Okay, so far we're about half and half. You can type elementary or secondary in the chat instead if you're not sure where the check mark and the X tools are. Then by all means, you can just type that into the chat. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Looks like we're pretty much split down the middle tonight, elementary and secondary. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to clear those check marks. And next I'm going to ask, has anyone ever used Classflow before? Okay. Okay. Yes, did you want to grab, oh. I missed whose name that was. Oh, okay, just looking for the X. Okay, got it. Okay, so we're going to start with Classflow. I'm going to summarize this again at the end, and the different tools. I'm starting with Classflow, and I'm not sure if you're kind of that, if you're that self-directed, kind of pushing yourself type learner, you may leave tonight with enough information to be able to use Classflow in your class in the next couple of days. But more than likely, you would be used tonight to take a look at these 3 tools, decide which one you want to focus in on. Pear Deck and Nearpod are a little bit easier to learn. There is a steeper learning curve with Classflow, but it has some really rich reasons why I choose it for my classroom most of the time. I do use Pear Deck once in a while and Nearpod once in a while, and I'll explain how I make those choices in a bit. But Classflow is very rich, and we do have an OTF Connect session just on Classflow in a couple of weeks. So just kind of use tonight to help you gauge that. Okay, so Classflow to start with is free. It is the only one of these tools that is entirely free. Pear Deck has a free baseline, and Nearpod has a free, entry-level product, but both of them have a cost involved in getting to the pro level. Classflow is entirely free right now. It's created by Promethean, which is the other smartboard, as a lot of people say. It's not the smart, but it's the Promethean interactive whiteboards. And what they've done with Classflow, the software that they've made, or this program that they've made, is they said that it doesn't matter what type of smartboard or interactive whiteboard you use it on. It doesn't matter if you're you don't even have to use a smartboard. Or an interactive whiteboard. Just projector in a computer is great. So they have gone away from licensing, like the Smart Notebook software is licensed only for use on smart notebooks. Promethean has made great choices and is completely open to use on any device. Okay. So here is how we are going to try doing Classflow. I'm going to type this. Actually, I have the link saved here. I'm going to put that link into the chat box. This is going to be when the chaos starts. We're going to do a quick demo of Classflow where you are the student. So I just put a link, classflow.com/student into the chat. And if you could open that in another browser. So you can click on it and it should open up in another browser, or you might need to copy and paste it if that clicking on it doesn't work. And you're going to pretend to be my student for a couple of seconds. So let me go start my Classflow so I can give you a code. And I'm going to try and share my screen so you see what is being projected at the front of the room after. QQJD6. QQJD6. Okay. When you go to classflow.com/student, you get asked probably, is this your device? And that's for students who may use a class device, like if you have a set of iPods in the classroom or iPads in the classroom or laptops. So they can choose. If it's their own device, then it just remembers their name. That's all it does, and you can always reset it. The next screen says, please sign in, and it asks you for your name and your code. You're going to put in whatever you want for your name. Well, I mean, anything appropriate. And then you're going to use the code QQJD, I just typed it in the chat again, JD6 as your code, QQJD6. And then you click the blue join button. At this point, it should say your name at the top in brackets in blue, not you, question mark, and you should have pretty landscape pictures on your screen. I'm going to clear the green check marks, and I'm going to give everyone a second to just see if they're getting into this in their different browsers and to ask questions if they're not, and to come put a green check mark when they have Classflow open in another window and they get pretty landscape pictures. Basically what that means is you're waiting for the teacher to start the lesson, but you're connected to my class. Oh, look at you all. Wow. Okay. That was downright impressive. How can we help the Sarjeet and Mary Jo? You just got here, yep. So let's see if you can get connected there. Okay, I'm going to keep going. And Luis, if anyone gets lost, can you just ding me back just because I'm working in another window for part of this? Just kind of grab my attention for me.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, so I am going to go to my first slide. So right now, but even though all your screens are still looking like landscape photos, all my students are sitting in my classroom. They have their landscape photos. I know that they're connected. And up on the screen I have a diagram. In this case it's a cell. It's not even math, unfortunately. The rest of them become math examples. But I have a cell diagram on the up on the board. And I'm going to choose to push it to you guys. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push the card to you. So it takes maybe a couple seconds to load, and then what you should end up with is just a picture. You can't do anything with it yet, but just a picture of a cell. So can I get a green check mark for anybody who just has a cell picture show up on your screen? Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so right now all I'm doing is pushing content, but it means that kids anywhere in the room can see it and we can talk about it and whatnot. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to go back into my Classflow now, so I'm going to clear those check marks, come back into my, and now I'm going to turn that into a poll. So I'm going to send that to you now. So what I've just sent you now, your page will refresh, and down the right-hand side you should have a couple different tools. You have a hand tool to just move around the page. You have a camera tool, which means if you have a camera on the device that you're using, you can take a picture of your work and add it to as your response. You have a pen tool. That means you could draw on the page. A shape tool and a text tool, and then you have a little refresh, which means clear everything and start again. If you could either grab the pen tool or the text tool and draw, you can just scribble across all over, or if you're a keener, you can label the mitochondria and the Golgi apparatus if you would like. You can do whatever you want. You can label a couple of cell parts, or you can just scribble and doodle on it. Try some shapes, try some text. When you're done, at the top right corner, you're going to have either a blue or a green arrow, like the little box. It's a typical iPad icon, the box with a little arrow. And you're going to press that button, and it submits it to me so that I can see it now. So when you're done your little doodle, if you can click the little submit button, that would be great. And I can see I have a little bar on my screen that I am going to try and show you guys what it looks like from my end in a second. So I'm going to give everyone maybe another 30 seconds to answer, only because we've got a couple different other ones to try as well. And we'll have lots of opportunities to play with this. So I can see that at least 2/3 of us have already submitted their answer, which is excellent. And I'm going to give it another, we're almost all submitted. So like another 20 seconds to hit the arrow at the top right hand of your screen after you've drawn on it or after you've done what you need to do. Okay, so I am going to stop the poll now. So this is the part where I warn my students, because when I stop it, it will lose everything that they're in the middle of doing. Unfortunately, I can't hear you all screaming, "No, don't do it!" And I'm going to stop it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I stopped the poll now. And you should get your landscape pictures just back to you on your screen that shows that you're waiting for me to send you something else. I can, as a teacher, go in and check what your responses were. So I'm going to look at the creative responses, and I'm going to see that, Jordan labeled some parts and labeled the whole thing as an animal cell. Sarjeet drew on the screen, and TR put some text on the screen, and Luis labeled ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum. Angela did some really cool doodling, and we have some fancy spirals from Jay. We've got Kristen who wrote hi, hello. We have the nucleus labeled by Tila. I circled a mitochondria. And Lynn did text and doodling. And Jackie did some really cool blue doodling, so she figured out how to change the color of the pen. Actually, a few of you guys did now looking back. So I can put those on the board. I'm going to grab Luis's card here, and I'm going to try and see. And so up on the board, and I can annotate it with the class even more. I'm going to show you what this looks like from the teacher end in a bit. I just don't want to try having you guys in the presentation in one window and me sharing it on another window to you, because I'm afraid that I'll cause everyone's computers.
Jacqueline, do you want to try doing a screenshot, and you could just do a static shot of what it looks like and lay it on the new slide?
Sure, I just ended the whole session by accident. Do you guys still have your screens? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can try doing a screenshot. Let me pull it up. Okay.
I just made a new page for you to lay it on.
Okay, let's try this. Where am I going again? Remind me?
Oh, sorry. The very bottom, second from the bottom, looks like a little camera on the tool strip.
Yep. There we go. Thank you. Whoa!
You can adjust the size of it before you take the snapshot.
Okay.
And Mary Jo just put in that
Mary
yes,
Jo,
you should just see that.
Perfect. You should see scenes right now. Okay. I can tell that I just caused a lag in everyone's audio by playing with my screenshot, my screenshot in the whiteboard. So what I'm going to do is ask everyone to come into the Blackboard Collaborate window and use the little green check mark, and tell me if you see the picture in there that shows you my view of what yours looked like. Okay. So you can see along the bottom, I have a scrolling bar, and it's kind of cut off here, but I can see everyone's responses. I can bring them up into the board in class, and I can annotate this further. So I could make corrections to Luisa's cell diagram. We could talk about it more in class, and I could add her card into my lesson so that it's there. So, anyone have any thoughts or ideas? Want to grab the mic? What do you think? I'm going to show you some more features of Classflow. We're going to spend another probably 15 or 10 minutes anyways in here at least. So any thoughts? Or yeah, it's pretty cool, eh, Jackie? I agree. Anything else? Any other thoughts? Yeah, this one pretty much blows my mind every time. So from a practicality perspective, I started a new class last week. Now I have been out for 4 days of the 2 weeks. So it's taking some time to get into our routines. And my students are all BYOD. So all my grade 9s come with a laptop or a tablet. And we have, we've struggled to get connected. We're losing 15 minutes off the front of our class at least to get going and to get connected right now. But I did this last semester with a learning strategies class, and by the time we got in maybe 3 weeks, they had it down to a fine art. They would come in and start having it connected before I even decided that we were using it that day. So they get into it pretty quickly once you get some routine. But as a word of warning, the first couple of weeks, it takes a while to get used to. I've seen it work on all devices. So we had an Android tablet today. We had a PC tablet. I had a whole bunch of PC computers and laptops. I had I said Android and iPad connected. So all of those were attached to it today. And the tablets, they just can write right on the screen. And the computers can either use their mouses, or in my classroom, I actually have Wacom tablets, which they plug in like a mouse to the laptop, and they can write. I think, Tila, that's a great question. How does it work with a slow classroom Wi-Fi? I'd probably put computers in groups if the Wi-Fi was really slow. I do find that it's a bit, it does glitch a bit because it is entirely web-based. And so, is that me playing with my thing, or is that you, Luis, messing around with my pretty picture at the front? So it's another good question is the cell phones. No, Classflow doesn't work very well with phones. Doesn't work very well with phones. It works way better with tablets and computers. Now I am just going to check here and see if Classflow has come out with a, because I know that they were looking too. And I know Nearpod has. So the next tool I'm going to show you works on phones. I'm just checking on my phone right now. And no, they don't have a student app yet for the phone. They have a teacher app for the phone, which lets me walk around the classroom. And if my students did their work by pen, I can take a picture of it, and I can send it right into my my Classflow that's up on the screen running. So if they're using manipulatives by hand, I can take a picture of their desk work, yeah, and push it right up. And they have an iPad app that you can run it to. So for a teacher, you have to have a computer connected to your projector up front of the classroom. It does need to run off of a laptop. But then if you have an iPad or an iPhone or an Android tablet or phone, there is a teacher remote app as well that lets you take pictures and annotate some of the stuff up on the board. And it's all done by By Wi-Fi, yeah. Just remember your first couple of times, take it slow, choose a few of them, and then work your way into, into some of the more complicated stuff. Because, I went gung-ho the first couple of times, and as things started kind of getting a little bit glitchy because when our internet connection isn't perfect, it just takes some practice. So I would do short bursts and working on it that way. And as you get going, it starts to become part of your classroom culture, and it just starts to work wonderfully. Okay, I'm going to go back into Classflow right now, and I am going to post my next card out to you. And actually, I'm going to send you another creative poll. This time, the poll I've sent you in your Classflow window has a house and a stack of each of the types of tangrams. You can drag the tangrams onto the house and try and figure out how those tangrams build a house. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds here. If you mess up one of the sizes of the shapes, like if you play with the dimensions, then you can just scrap it and grab another one from the pile. So, but each tangram should only be used once you get it set up onto the house. I am going to pop into the Collaborate room to make sure there's no questions while you're playing with that. Well, it looks like everybody is out playing with their tangram houses. I'm going to try and figure out how to delete my whiteboard picture. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take another one in a second. Actually, what I'll do is take a picture of the screen. So I'm going to give you about another, I don't know, 45 seconds to just move around some of those things and then hit the submit arrow at the top right. Doesn't matter if you get it finished, obviously. And I'm going to apologize for anyone that can hear the dog snoring in the background. As I leave my mic on, I'm aware that you can hear them. Okay, I am going to stop the poll in a few seconds. So click your blue submit button at the top right. I am going to end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm stopping it now. Okay, I'm going to go take a look and see the responses. Ooh, all sorts of pretty tangram houses. Awesome. All sorts of fun stuff there. I can see people are having some fun with playing with the tangrams. So let me hop into the Blackboard Collaborate. And what about your thoughts on this tool, on the ability to drag shapes and things? Anything triggering your brain for use in your classroom, ideas? Anyone want to grab the mic and any thoughts about this one? Yeah, so hard to manipulate on a trackpad, good idea. As an FYI, the dollar store sells little USB mouses. I always keep a little stockpile of them in my classroom.
Jacqueline, I have a question. I don't know if any of you folks are trying it out on an iPad. Does it use all the same things, the pinch and the spread to change the sizes on the iPad, or do they have to grab the corners and pull it out the same way, or is it do they have to be precise with where they touch the screen when they're manipulating the shapes?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Is anyone out there using an iPad right now to do this?
You know what? I have an iPad sitting right next to me.
Yeah, I do too. I just don't have enough arms to make it work because I have the... Yep, that's a great idea. Tila has some great ideas. The shift arrow for nudging, I don't know. You might be able to. I know you can when you're setting it up, Jane, so when I'm making it. Yeah, so this part of it reminds me a lot of Smart Notebook. except for the fact that I can send my poll out to every student. Like I can send it out and, oh, okay, thanks, Louise. So I really like this aspect of it, of creating the manipulatives. Today in my class, my grade 9 math class, I put up 3 shapes, including prisms and pyramids, and they had to sort them today, just as our kind of minds on very quick. And I put up all of these shapes, and they had to sort them, and then we talked about what made them choose to sort them that way, and moved into the difference between a pyramid and a prism. So it was a great, quick, took us 2 minutes once we got connected to the program. So the tangram shapes are a template in here, and so was the house. It was all, these were shapes in here. There is a whole set of images in here already. It's not exhaustive. I mean, I brought in some of my own, I bring in a lot of my own stuff, but there is a good base. And the picture in Blackboard Collaborate right now, where you can see the slides down the right, and you can see the little scroll bar at the top, and then the view here. This is what I would have projected in my classroom. So I can see my slide deck down the right-hand side, and I can choose which slide I'm going to.
Jacqueline,
absolutely, Tila, I agree.
Jacqueline, when you have it projected on the screen like that, and then after students click submit, is it in that same screen where we saw across the bottom on your previous screenshot all the different student submissions? Is that automatically what gets projected as well, or do you choose whether the students can see everybody's submissions?
I choose. So I end a poll. So right now there's actually a poll running, like the picture that's on the screen right now. The little scroll bar across the top with a little kind of half circle there, that fills up as you make your submissions, and I can see how much of the class has hit submit. And then once I end the poll, I go and there is a little icon underneath where that scroll bar is that lets me go and look at the submissions. So I don't have to. And the other nice thing is that if I have an iPad in my hand, that I'm using the teacher app for, I can look at the student submissions on my iPad instead of projecting it all the time. So I can make that choice as I go. So a lot of the times when there's a right and a wrong distinct answer that's very open and very clear, like the algebra or some of the that kind of stuff, I don't necessarily project it unless I know who's I'm going in to pick out. Whereas if it's something where we're problem solving and we're looking at all different strategies and it's not going to make anyone feel like they've done something wrong, that we're looking for different ideas, then I just pull it up and we don't worry about it. But it's really that kind of building the culture in the classroom of sharing what we're doing and our thinking, and that there is, we learn through the mistakes as opposed to we're not pulling up mistakes to highlight them. Yeah, it is. It's very flexible. You can also not use student names, right? So I can create a roster. What I did for tonight's session is I ran what's called an ad hoc session, which means that you just put in your own name and that's what connected to you. For my actual math classes, I have class lists, and when they go to log in, they get a list of all the kids and they just choose their own name and connect. I could have just made them nicknames or codes or whatever so they didn't know who was who. So there's a couple different options to do that for. Okay, I'm going to go back into Classflow, and I'm going to pick my next slide and send it out to you. Let's go with, well, I've got one that's got music notes and music lines, but I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go to a graph. So what I've sent to you is for all of the grade 9 teachers out there, and I've sent you a linear equation to graph. If linear equations is not your thing to graph, grab the pen tool and graph anything you want, or doodle, or make shapes, or just play. But basically for this poll, what I've done is I took an image of a grid, a coordinate plane, and I just put it on the screen. And then I asked the kids to do a graph. So I might, ask them to plot 2 points on the graph, or I could ask them to plot the y-intercept and then use the slope to find another point. I could, depending on what I asked them to do that in class, I could target different things. So doodle doodle, and I'm going to stop the poll and click submit if you want. You don't have to. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to stop the poll. Okay, so you should be back to scenery on your slide now. Oh, you guys didn't get it that time. Okay, I'm going to go back and try that again. Can I get a green check mark on who did see the graph come up to the screen? but you couldn't submit. Okay, so a few of you did, a few of you didn't. Let me try that one again. There are sometimes little glitches. Let's see if we can, let's try that one more time. Okay, so I just started it again. It's working on the computer sitting next to me. That doesn't mean it's working for everybody else. No, Mary Jo, that's exactly, I agree. It is hard to draw a straight line. I chose, I've already decided that I will not be doing line of best fit using this tool, but I will do, you know, graphing through y-intercept and then using the slope to find the next one. The next point, I'll do it like so for a couple of things, but not so much line of best fit or that type of thing. Kids on tablets can use a ruler right on top of it, but yeah. Still nothing. Oh, Melissa, can you refresh your Classflow page, Melissa, for me? And Jane? So just go up to the top of your address bar and click the refresh, and then maybe it will join in.
No,
and I'm
you know what? I figured it out. Melissa, I am so very, very sorry. I realized that you logged in after the link that we're all looking at was posted in the chat, so I am going to post the link again there for you. So yes, our whiteboard screen is blank, and Jacqueline will put an image there later, but there's the link in the chat. Don't worry about it. So go to that link, and here's the code you're going to want to enter once you get there.
Awesome. But Jane, yours isn't showing up either?
No, I'm unable to see the graph.
Did you refresh your page?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm going to stop the poll and then send it back out again, and that might resend it to you. Do you know what I mean? It might reconnect it. Any luck there?
No, sorry.
Oh.
Thank you though for trying.
Sorry. This sometimes happens. Every once in a while, just one person's device doesn't connect. So I do a couple of things. I have an extra one sitting around if I can, and I'm in a great situation where I can. Or I pair the kid up with the kid next to them. Yeah, it's a good question, Louise. Did the previous ones come through for you, Jane, so you at least got to experience a little bit of it?
Yes, they did. Everything was fine just until the graph. No, this is great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. No, it might have been that I talked too long without activating your computer. It timed out, and now it's acting funny. I have noticed that too sometimes because we'll stop using Classflow for a bit in our class, turn to something else, and then I'll have everyone come back. And some of them have to close their whole browser window and then reconnect again if I wait for way too long. So it's actually good that you come up with this problem because it means that we're talking about it here, because all of these little glitches and features need to play into deciding what tools to use and what not to use. Because if the technology takes over and gets in the way, it becomes useless, right? It becomes a hazard, not a benefit. So thinking about some of the times, you know, what you'll do when that happens ahead of time is a good idea. Okay, I'm going to stop this poll now. And I am going to show you a couple other features really quickly. This feature, what I'm doing right now, I'm going to send this card out to you. And what I've pushed out to you is a web page. And you should, on your own screen, be able to scroll through that web page. So it could be a reading. It could be data from a newspaper article that we wanted to graph in math class. Or it could be any other, like a reading or an Equeo practice question that we're going to go through and highlight all the relevant information. You can send out, just push out web pages as well. It could even actually be something like a Google Doc where you send it out to them. It doesn't always work perfectly, but it has done pretty good sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely great for literacy because you can, you know, and I haven't even gotten to this part yet, but with Classflow, you can actually send different cards to different kids. So if you guys were set up as my proper class, not as just an ad hoc a join with your own name thing. If I had actually had you set up as a class list in my class before, then I could have sent some of you different cards than others. So I could have, you know those websites that have the news articles that are at like a varying reading levels? I could have sent out, you know, 5 of you an article with one reading level, 5 of you to another reading level, and that type of thing. Tricia, okay, I'm going to go resend the page to try it again. Did that resend you the article at all? Okay, for some of them, if the web page doesn't work properly on your browser, it'll give you a link to it. Yes, Tila, it does take about as long as a Smart Notebook slide to make. It opened it up in a new tab. Interesting, Mary Jo. I think that some of the differences on the browsers that we use act a little differently in some people. Great question, Louise. Yours blank too, eh, Kristen? I'm going to try sending it to you, everybody, one more time. Oh, and now mine's blank. Let's see. Okay. Mine worked there, but that doesn't mean that. Well, let's just try something different. Another one. I think like a lot of us are using our internet, our computer processing speed and our internet to the max by having this open, having Blackboard Collaborate opening with me talking and the audio coming through. I think we're maxing out a lot of our systems. So let me try one that's not quite so bandwidth heavy, like pushing on another web page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it a poll, and it's called a word seed. Basically, you're going to type in a word, and I'll show you what it looks like after. So what you should get is a box on your screen that says, please enter a word or a phrase. If you have that, could you just type in one word, and it could be anything, just so that I can show you how this tool works? Oh, good. That's so weird. So just enter in anything, any one word, and then click the Submit button up at the top right. Okay, it's good to know too. Louise had to refresh twice, and now she sees it. Okay, so just one word, and it doesn't matter what the topic is. Like I just put in the word math, and then hit Submit. And I'm going to close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I've stopped the poll. You should have pretty landscape on now. I'm going to do a screenshot. I'm going to take Louise's idea here and use it to its max. I'm going to pull up the results for that. I can see that the chat's moving. I'm just not in that window yet, so I'll be right there in 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do a screenshot. I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to do, whoops. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. Lynn, the advertising at the bottom was from the article that I had pushed out to you. It was a CBC website that article was on. So the article, so yeah, it wasn't the app that was giving the advertising. It was just the CBC article. Great question. So what you see on the screen right now in Blackboard Collaborate. So your Classflow is just giving you. I have wicked scenery pictures that distracting me off to the side. But on the board you can see what's called word seed results. All of you put in a word or two, and it's actually great. And I can drag the words on top of each other and put them in piles. So you can see the dog word. I took someone else's word and I put it on that pile so that you can group everyone's words. So if I said to my grade 9s as they came in, I want you to write down the first word or the first thing you think of when you think of geometry. And some of my class said shapes. Some of them said formulas. Some of them said buildings. Some of them said whatever. Then I could drag all of the similar ones together and we could group a whole bunch of, so it's a really just good way for brainstorming ideas and collecting our thoughts, collecting our kind of thoughts together. So that's the word seed feature. I'm going to show you one more feature, or two more features. What am I going to do? I am going to go here, and I am going to send you a card. Now what I sent to your Classflow page now is actually a PowerPoint file in itself. And you can scroll through the PowerPoint slides on your own. And they are all pretty pictures of different types of blood cells. Sorry if that upsets anyone's. And you can scroll through all of the PowerPoint slides. As you can see, I may also be a science teacher. And you can each go through those on your own. So I have the slideshow up on the board as well. I can scroll through them as a class, but students could also work through, say, maybe 3 or 4 slides on their own at their desk or wherever. Louise, can you describe what you've asked there?
Yeah.
In the chat with a mic?
Yes, I was wondering about the word seed. So you had asked us to put a word or two down. If you say you did it as like an exit card or something like that and ask students, okay, do you have any questions about this concept or something along those lines, and students just all put their questions down and then you saw it, would it be, is it too much clutter to have students put down, even if they did a short question? Then you can say, okay, we got 8 students who all don't get this, or have a question around it, and a couple, you know, that kind of thing. Would that work? Yeah, cool.
Absolutely brilliant. You maybe have me changing my lesson plan for tomorrow. Really nice. I love it. That's great. Okay. How's everyone doing with the PowerPoint? Green check mark if the PowerPoint came through to your into your computer and you got to move through the slides okay? Funny that that one worked okay. So that comes in handy when you have pre-made PowerPoints that are out there that, you know, are good quality that you didn't want to kind of lose, right? Just because you're shifting to a new tool doesn't mean we have to lose the old stuff. So you can embed a PowerPoint right into your class and just do it that way. Let me see what my next one is. Oh, my next one is a PDF I'm going to send you. So this is great, again, for our literacy. So now what I've sent you is a PDF and a PDF viewer, and you should be able to scroll through the 4 pages of that and up and down, and so students can read through it, or it could just be a resource that they're using as part of their, you know, at their desk activity. Yeah, so I can send them web pages, I can send them PDFs, I can send them PowerPoints, I can send them text that I've just put in as a regular slide. Can students save these files? Let me just check here. They used to be able to. Maybe not. It's not on this one, they can't. So on Nearpod, I think, is the one we're doing next. You can save them from there. This one I don't think. Let me just try it. I don't seem to be able to. Yeah. Thanks, Louise. That's great. Perfect. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to download it here. Great question. Who was it that asked that? Melissa, great question. But with Classflow, I don't seem to be able to. I think it's Nearpod, the one that lets me do it. Okay, so that is all I have. Oh, the only other thing in Classflow I had to show you. Okay, heads up, I'm switching your card on you. My students, like the first time I ever showed them this, they actually asked me if I hacked their computers. The one I sent you now is a video, so you could send YouTube videos as well. So, and again, remembering that once you get good at Classflow, you can send different cards to different kids. So I might have, you know, different videos on different concepts, and my students are getting one that's tied into what their needs are. And you can just push those out to the different kids as they go. So I'm going to head back into Collaborate, and I will shut down Classflow in about 2 minutes. But in the meantime, before I shut it down, questions, thoughts? Can kids submit questions that you can redirect them to other kids? No. That is the one downfall with Classflow, is that none of the kids' devices ever interact with each other's devices. There's no way for them to do any part of it together. I can see people typing. Anyone who wants to grab the mic, please feel free. Any thoughts about Classflow? I am going to summarize all 3 of them after we've seen the 3 tools. And the other 2 are going to be a bit quicker. Classflow is definitely the biggest and the richest in terms of number of tools. Yep, Melissa, tomorrow morning you'll be sent out a message that has a link to the recording from tonight's entire session. So you can see all of it again. It'll be perfect. Yes, the web browsers you can click out and go move out of that browser window, Luis. So you don't have them locked into Classflow. They are still able to leave Classflow. Okay, I'm just waiting for a couple other questions here. I'm going to turn off Classflow so your screen will disconnect, and I'm going to suggest that you close your Classflow window because I am going to get you onto another window after, and if you have all of it open, your computer might have a meltdown. Well, mine would. You might have a stronger computer than I do. Yeah, Tila, no, that's a great point. And the one thing you could do, Tila, is send the link to Dropbox just as a hyperlink on text on one of these cards if you wanted to send it out to kids. And then they could open up their file and go right into it if it was a PDF or something. I did a growth mindset lesson on Classflow the other day with my students, and one of the PDFs from Carol Dweck's PERTS material, like out of Stanford, was it had some really good diagrams of the neuron and some of the connections. And so I just pulled that PDF and pushed it out to them so they could see and they could go in and look at those diagrams closer. But I didn't have them read it and really do a whole lot. I just wanted them to have that PDF in front of them for about 3 minutes while we talked about it. But you're right. If they're going to be highlighting on the PDF and you really want them getting into that PDF, then probably best to just give them a link to it so they can download it themselves. Yes, absolutely, Jane. I will put my email up after. If you email me that from your email address, email me asking for that. I'll send you that and the resources that we use to create that. Okay, so that was Classflow. As a student, I know you don't know how to set it up entirely yourself as a teacher. Some quick words about Classflow. Their how-to videos are great. To get started and get going the first time doesn't take too long as you don't have a whole bunch of big slides you want to do. But getting really good at it takes a while. I'm still on that learning curve of getting really, really good at Classflow, but I see so much potential in this tool because of the math, the manipulative aspect, and that it's free. And it's been working on pretty much all of our devices so far. And their support community is wonderful. So I had questions, they had some glitches, and they were still in beta. They might still be technically in beta. And they would respond in the community within usually hours, but within a day or so. And they're listening to our requests and improving the product all the time. So I'm very impressed with Promethean on this one, and I'm very anti. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm very Promethean's a very rich company. They sell hardware. So this is a tool it also works on all of their little devices as well as BYOD, but they also get lots of sponsorships and partnerships. Promethean works with a lot of different educational organizations. So Promethean as a company isn't going away. How they use their program could, depending on how they set it up and their funding for it, but they sell a lot of hardware to make their actual dollars. So let's go on to Nearpod, shall we? Let's go check out Nearpod. You, as a student, are going to go to nearpod.com right there. I am going to go find out the class code, UHAVM, UHAVM. And then on Nearpod, actually, where's my PowerPoint slide? I think I have a picture of it. Oops, not that one. Oops, I was going to go to Pear Deck next, apparently. There we go. Got a picture of it. Nope. Okay, sorry, I don't have a picture. You're going to nearpod.com, and at the top right, it says join, and then you put in the code UHAVM and click the button join. Oops. UHAVM. And what you should see pop up on your screen is a slide that says Creating Interactive Math Lessons through BYOD. Can I get a green check mark from you when you have that? Sweet. Awesome. And my pretty blue and orange tree. Okay. So when you are here, now that everyone's on that slide, is anyone having any troubles getting connected? Okay, I think we're all connected. Feel free to ping or ding or... Oh, you're not. Okay, how can I help, Tricia? So you're at nearpod.com, and at the top right, there's a little, it's like a bluey, gray, white box, and it says Join. If you enter right in that box UHAVM, and then click Join, you should get a little picture pop up on your screen that says Creating Interactive Math Lessons through BYOD. Okay. Let me know if it acts funny on you. And there's a great picture that Luis just threw up in the whiteboard. Okay, so on my end, I'm going to click Next on the slide, and what's going to happen is your screen's going to switch, and it says Nickname and Other. If you just put in a nickname, you don't have to put anything under Other, and then hit Send. Then you are connected. So you just put in a nickname, so I can see Jack, Jackie, Jane, Jordan, Lynn, SD, Tila, Wheezy. I can see all of those folks coming into the room. This is great. So you're just putting in your nickname and then hitting Send, and then you just have a thank you that shows up on your screen, and I will, oh, there we go. Good, good, good. TR, is that you, Tricia? Did you get in? Awesome. Okay. Good, good, good. So beat me if you're not in, because I'm going to flip into the screen here now. Okay, I'm going to click Next on Nearpod. It's going to change your screen again. So on your screen, I've asked you to select your panel. Are you elementary, secondary, or other? And then hit Send back to me. On my screen, I'm going to take a screenshot of it in a second. I have a chart, and it's showing me that Tila, MJ, Jane, Jackie, Kristen, SD, Lynn, TR have chose elementary. Melissa, AX, Jordan, Wheezy, oh no, not Wheezy, sorry, have chosen secondary, and then Wheezy is other. Okay, so I'm going to do a screenshot of that in Blackboard Club right now. This might cause some technical glitches a little bit, like just slow down for a second, but I think it's good for you to see what I see. Okay, so here's what I see. And Nearpod was made a little bit differently than Classflow. Nearpod was really made to run by the teacher on an iPad, so that there isn't, like, almost run the classroom as if there was no projector, where you have yours in front of you, kids have theirs in front of you, and you don't really need the projector at all. It's not the same kind of annotating, and like a little bit of a different focus. I still have used it with the projector, no problem. And the other thing that makes me choose Nearpod sometimes for different functions is that it allows you to set up your presentation for homework. So I could take today's session, and I will try to remember to do this after, and I can export it, like in Nearpod I click Get Homework Link, and then I post the homework link on the board or in our online classroom, and kids click on it, and I don't have to be running it as a teacher. They could be at home homework. The supply teacher was in my classroom while I was sitting at the board office last week, and they were doing a diagnostic. And they can answer little questions. Maybe one slide is a video, information, and then so it's almost like a at your own pace lesson. And that comes in handy a couple times in my math classroom. One time is that diagnostic when I couldn't be in class, and the other time is when students have missed a concept. So I mark or assess on my big ideas. If one of my students has really missed the concept of volume of a 3D shape, then I will have a Nearpod for that big idea. And they will go through and work on it to kind of pump up their skills. So that's one way I use Nearpod in my classroom. I don't tend to use it for whole class activities, only because I have chosen to use Classflow, and I put so much time and effort into making Classflow work for me. But that's just a total, just my own personal use of it. Like lots of people use Nearpod all the time in their classroom, and there are great benefits to it. Yes, absolutely. And Luis, yes, my FNMI Learners in Math article is on Scribd. Sorry, I just saw that now. I'll send you the link after, once I can find it. Okay, I'm going to switch the slide on you now for Nearpod. And okay, so here's an open-ended question. So the last one is a multiple choice. This is an open-ended question. And you can just type, I'm typing blah, 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 blah on mine, and then I'm hitting send. And then it just says thank you when I'm done. On my screen, I can see my own response that was blah, 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 blah. I see Melissa teaches grade 10 and 11 math. I can see that Lynn's la, 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 lying. I can see AX is a science teacher. All sorts of great stuff. So 7-8 teacher, math teacher, that's cool to be focused in grade 7 and 8. 6, 7, 8, everything. Very cool. So just like the other one where I saw little dots beside the multiple choices, in this case I just see their quick answer. And Luis, can you throw up some sort of answer, just anything? Only because I'm going to share it to everyone to see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to share Luis's answer now to everybody. So my screen just switched and it says not cooking. So that is Luis's response. So if I had wanted to share one of the students' responses to you, I can do it with the tap of a button. Okay, without her name, right? So if I'm not, they would see your name if it was projected, but I'm not projected. Say I'm walking around my classroom, I can send. As you can see, I just switched it again. Switch different answers. Ooh, an SST for K-8, awesome. Cool. Okay, so that's that aspect. Next, Nearpod. So I sent you a video. So it might look a little different depending on your device and browser. On mine, my video takes up the whole screen, and I can just play it on my own pace on my own computer here. On some browsers, it shows up as a link that I open up and click open and it opens up in another window. It just depends on the browser. And I think that video is just an introduction about Nearpod, and it's 39 seconds. So why don't you actually watch that and then come and click the green check mark in Blackboard when you're done. Chrome seems to work best. Not working. Hey, Tricia, what's it doing to you? Oh. Well, that's not a good error to have. Did you try leaving and coming back in? So I'm going to go find that code again for you. Try closing down that tab. I think, Trish, we've just overloaded your, yeah, Angela, it's only part of it that's free. I'll tell you what part's after. Yeah, I know. It's very sad. there's the code again. If you needed to rejoin, Trish is in the chat again. Okay, I'm going to go into Nearpod. I'm going to put it onto the next screen. So what I've sent you here is what did I send you here? A PDF. And it's all about how to set up Nearpod, just on this. The fancy content that's behind the paywall, yeah, you can do push out slides and content to them, but all of the really good interactive stuff is behind their paywall. Now you do get a certain amount for free, like you get 5 or 10 free or something like that. Just enough to get you hooked. Yeah, it gives you like, no, it gives you. It's free. The basics of it are free forever. You get some of the pro you get like 5 slides of pro stuff or something. I don't know exactly how many, but you get a certain amount of pro features. But the free part, the basics of it, last forever. Okay, so I'm going to switch your slide now from a PDF to a PowerPoint presentation. This is actually the PowerPoint presentation we're using tonight in the actual Blackboard Collaborate. Down the left-hand side of my screen, I just see all the little dots to go to the different slides, and I can work through it on my own. So again, just a PowerPoint slide. Okay, I'm going to switch to the next one now. So now it's a web page. I get a link online that says click here to open web page. And I have to click on it and it opens in another, like a kind of like a pop-up. And it's actually the OTF Connect page, of course. You can do both, Lynn. You can license it as an individual teacher or as a school. And I was actually talking with Nearpod yesterday, and they are the most expensive out of this one and Pear Deck. I'm going to show you Pear Deck next. And they don't give you, like, the more and more teachers you get, they don't seem to really give a good discount. Whereas Pear Deck will reduce quite a lot once you get more and more teachers on board. Okay, I switched it to another web page, but I'm not going to, oh, this is a Twitter feed, sorry. If you click on that link, it opens up a Twitter feed. And of course, it's OTF PD Twitter feed. So it takes you just to their Twitter page, and all I had to do was put in their handle for that, and it showed it automatically for me as a teacher. Okay, now I'm going to switch it over again.
I'm wondering if mine has overloaded. I just want to check with others as well. I'm still left looking at the web page one. Is everyone else still moving along and seeing the Twitter one? Give us a green check mark if you're on what Jacqueline's on.
Now I'm on a fill in the blanks question.
Okay, I refreshed, and I've got fill in the blanks now too. And Lynn does, Jane does. Okay, seeing some green check marks there.
Okay, so it's starting to, I'm going to, I think we're almost done with the Nearpod. Let me just check. Oh, I have a couple more, actually the good ones to do. So why don't I go to the next one that's really kind of the important one and see if that doesn't work. I want to make sure that that works. Okay, so what I've pushed out to you now is a graphing one on Nearpod. So you're asked to draw a graph of, and I didn't actually even put that in. I just left it blank. And the pen tool's at the bottom left. There's a highlighter tool. There's a text tool and an eraser down there. And then you hit send when you're done. So if you could just graph whatever you so choose, and click send, I will show you what it looks like from my end as soon as you have something on there. Nice, Tila. Nice. Okay, I'm going to do a screenshot of this now while it's working away. Perfect. Okay, on Blackboard Collaborate, I have a picture of what it looks like on my end. So I can see all of your different graphs kind of there, and I could press on one to make it I can pull up one of somebody's, or and share it as well. I agree, Mary Jo. It's difficult on a computer. I actually use little writing tablets in my classroom, and that they plug in USB like a mouse, but there's a little pen in a tablet, and that's how they can draw right on the screen. Makes it a lot easier for math. But if you're using tablets, it's much easier. So it just depends on the devices. Okay, so that's the drawing feature, and I just put the background picture as a coordinate plane. I'm going to go to the next slide now.